for those that don't know RankBell, first of all, welcome being here. RankBell is a marketing and data analysis company, research agency. We help brands figure out exactly who their consumer is. So a lot of the times in our space, we see a lot of new sellers come in and they either learn themselves how to sell on Amazon or they taken a really great course, and it only gets you so far. So especially in today's competition, that is no longer enough. When I started RankBell 10 years ago, it was incredibly easy to just put your product on Amazon and just have sales fly in. I mean, it was just like the most wonderful thing you could possibly imagine. So as soon as people started kind of catching on to the trend, we started seeing competition get a little tougher. So what happened over the years, we saw an increase of Amazon not allowing the brands to contact the consumers. So in the beginning of Amazon days, you were able to do a lot more things on Amazon that you can do now. But one thing that you were able to do was to get reviews from your consumer and telling you exactly what they like or what they don't like. And now you don't really have access to what the consumer thinks. The only time you'll get a really good review is very rare, when somebody goes in and they really give you feedback on your product based on facts. Most of the times what you'll see a lot of people saying this is a bad product or this is a really great product, but they never really leave you with anything concrete. And why is this important more than it's been ever? Well, one, people buy pictures, they don't really buy products. And what do I mean by this? The first time somebody researches for your product, they look at what you have to offer on the listing. First thing they see is the pictures, and then they go into your content. So what we do at RankBell, we are really trying to find out how your consumer actually thinks. What do they look at when they type in your product? Let's say you are selling black pen. If you type in black pen, what are the products? What are the pictures that are coming on the first page? You want to be able to be the one that stands out. So what we do at RankBell, we have thousands and thousands and thousands of people throughout US that actually go into your listing and your product and examine it from head to toe. And when that happens, they will be able to give you a completely new insight that you would have seen or known just by taking a course. And I'm not here bashing courses. I think they're wonderful and they really get students to go from knowing nothing of Amazon to getting to the point where they're like, they feel comfortable in actually getting a product and posting it on Amazon. But once it's on Amazon, it's very hard for anyone to know what your consumer actually wants. So we have them go through this process of checking out your listings, checking out the benefits of your product. Maybe there's something that is missing on the listing that maybe you were not able to catch. What are some of the strengths and weaknesses? Maybe every time your product ships, every fifth box is broken. Like, you wouldn't be able to know that if your consumer just says your product sucks or the box came broken, whatever that may be. So we go through thousands and thousands of reports based on what the consumer wants. So what exactly do we do? When a brand comes to us and they are telling us they're in so much trouble or they're not making any sales, first thing we do is ask, do you know who your shopper is? Because a lot of the times we see that Amazon sellers, they're just trying to sell to everyone, and of course, you think, oh, a black pen, everybody needs a black pen. That is correct. But yet there's an audience audience that are looking for your specific black pen, and your obligation is to make sure that yours is the one that they will find. So they will go in and they will audit your product, your listing, your images, descriptions. They will look at your A+ content. They look at everything. And then what they do, they go to your competition and they look at what they are doing. Why would they choose this black pen over this one? Maybe they look very similar, but is you the one that is going to create that listing that speaks exactly to them? So the buyers will go through the processing of ordering your product. They also give us feedback on this process, and it might not seem like a big deal. You're thinking, oh, it doesn't really matter how they buy it, but it really does, because again, there's just so many products to choose from, and it indicates to us even the smallest hesitation of somebody buying your product compared to the other. And as you guys know, I mean, the attention span these days is like a goldfish. So it's very important for us brands to capture that attention immediately. And how can we do that if we don't know what they're looking for? So the shoppers will give you insights into the speeding, the shipping speed, the packaging, products, and all this data then is compiled into a report that is given to your brand. So again, I'm just going to go through the steps real quick, and you guys can take this model, exactly what I do, and you can have your own case study. And I'll tell you how to do that in a little bit if we still have time. But basically, we collect the data through profiling thousands of your exact buyer. So first, we find out who your buyer is. Then we find these buyers throughout US. Then we show them your product. We ask them, why would they buy yours over the competition, or the competition over yours? We get that feedback, and you take this feedback and you optimize your listing in such a way that the shoppers have no choice but to order your products, because they're literally telling you what they want. You're giving them exactly what they want. The reports will tell you exactly what that is. And you'll be surprised how many times some of the brand owners, they're quite surprised at some of the things they find. I mean, it can be the smallest thing, like maybe a misspell in the listing, or maybe the product pictures not showing you exactly how to use it. And you would think, oh my God, these are all common things, but it happens more than you think. So the resulting benefits of having all this customer feedback, you renewing your listing, which, by the way, you should definitely look into optimize your listing at least once a month. So the resulting benefits obviously lead to increased sales and longevity of your brand. And one thing that's worth mentioning here is, and I think I spoke with you, Marie, about this. I don't know if you told me or I told you, we came up with it together, but Jeff Bezos said that about what was it? What's the percentage of the students that actually don't make it on Amazon?
Yeah, 97% he declared.
There you go. So 97% of sellers that come on Amazon do not make it. So there's 3% of us that do. And it makes you wonder, like, what is it that makes so many people drop off? I mean, of course, there's so many reasons, such as financial and all this, but there really shouldn't be as many that fail, because it only takes a little bit of agility and a little bit of understanding of what your customer wants for you to deliver exactly that. So once we have, and by the way, I didn't mention this, which is crucial, and I know a lot of people actually care about this, is once these shoppers go onto your listing and they click on it and they click out and they look at your product, they look at other products, they go through hours, they literally spend hours on your specific listing. What happens when they actually order your product and they receive it at home? As a side effect, Amazon actually pushes you to page one. So now you're on page one, and now you have an exact to-do list basically on everything that you need to do to have your product stay on page one. And this is probably one of the questions that I get the most. How long am I going to be on a first page? So what happens is, people come to us, we help them, they get to page one, they get this, beautiful compilation of all this feedback that they can now optimize their listing. And then they're like, well, how do I get to stay on page one? Well, you can always stay on page by, again, making sure that you always ask your customers, what is it that you're doing right and you're doing wrong? This is not a one-time thing. A lot of people think I'm going to get to page one and somehow I'm going to be locked in there forever. Just like you would do a PPC campaign, you wouldn't want to do this with your shoppers. You want to get feedback continuously because things change all the time. Trends change. I mean, everything, Amazon rules change all the time. So why would something that's so hard to achieve last forever unless you're continuing to put work in it? Keep your listing and product fully optimized. And in the end, you'll be able to experience the benefits. Some of I know, Nick, you are really curious on giving your audience some of the tips on ranking on Amazon, and I just put this quickly together. But again, I know some of you are going to be like, oh my God, it's the same things. And sometimes we got to say the same things over and over again until you get it through your head. I can't say this any louder than this, but optimize your product listing. People buy pictures. They don't buy your product. They literally buy your picture. And then when they get your product home in 2 days, then they actually have your product. So with that in mind, what is it the first thing they see? If I were to buy my own product, am I looking at this picture the way they look at it? Do they see what I want to show to them? So make sure everything that you do, obviously in your listing, use relevant keywords. We have, over the last 10 years that I've been doing this, I've seen brands come to me and say, can we try to, rank on this specific keyword that had nothing to do with their product? And my answer is always yes, because you can literally rank anything you want. But would that help you or would it hurt you in the long run? If your product is banned, but you're having me rank your product for headband, it makes no sense. Yeah, maybe some of those will convert, but don't try to always go for the shiny object. Oh, I heard this person said I should do this. This person said I should do this. No, focus on exactly what you need to do. Is my product optimized? Is my listing optimized? Do I need better pictures? I mean, maybe when you started, you only had $100 to do your pictures. Maybe now you have a little bit more. Look always into how can I enhance what I have, because it will be a matter between being on page one and being on page two. And I know it sounds like it's no big deal, but we've seen increases of like 64, 65%, maybe even higher of increased sales from page two to page one. And I don't think you guys understand what this means. I think you really need to look at what that number actually comes down to. If you're, if you're making $5,000 profit and you're on page two, just think how much 64% of that will increase if you're on page one. So it's not a small thing. It's not a small thing. And don't think, oh, well, just PPC will take care of it. And I always recommend PPC. I think everybody should do PPC, but you want to be organically on page one. Optimize your price, again, no brainer stuff, but always play with your price. You see what works, see what doesn't, and don't be stubborn when it comes to changing anything and testing, and actually take the time to A/B test everything. External traffic, I think this is really, really, really crucial. And when it comes to ranking, it might not add in that much benefit like right away on Amazon when it comes to ranking on Amazon. But what it does, once you create this external traffic sources, now you actually have your own people, like you have your own tribe that will come with you forever. So I don't want you guys to always just think Amazon, Amazon, Amazon. I know I love Amazon, and it's great that it offers us this possibilities of just making sales and Amazon is marketing for us. That's great, but don't get lazy. And I'm telling you, don't get lazy, because if you're not growing, you are dying, my friend. You are dying. And I know everybody's so nice and, everybody just wants to cuddle you, but I'm telling you, like, I see it every single day. More people get out of Amazon than they come in. I mean, you're either winning or you're losing. So So make sure you take care of your external traffic. And, if you're already busy and you're telling me you're running all this and you have another job, I don't know, maybe it's time to hire a VA for a few dollars an hour that can help you manage some of these things. Don't sleep on this, guys, at all. Build your own website. And I think this is something that's so overlooked. It's so many times clients come to us and they really don't have a website. I mean, they have Amazon, and again, it's great, but why don't you have a simple website? Why don't you have a simple website with your product showing your brand, your colors? Bring all this traffic from the outside, send messages to people, put in a little bit of work. I started using Threads. I mean, this is the newest thing in social media. It's I don't know if you guys know about it. It's an app developed by Instagram and Facebook, Meta. This is something not to sleep on too. And because it's so new, it will give you the ability to really create a following for your product. This is it. I mean, try being funny, try different emotions, try to see what is everybody doing. I have not seen many brands on Threads, but again, I think it's like a week old. So it's really not that old, but this is the time for you to make some waves with the external traffic. Again, relevancy, I kind of touched on this before, and make use of the EBC. If you don't have brand registry, get on it immediately. And again, I can't stress this enough, people don't buy products, they buy your pictures. With that being said, short presentation. Feel free to ask any questions you want.